Hi, welcome to this inVR tutorial. Today we're going to be covering baking light maps in Unity 3D for Windows.
Okay, let's jump right in here and first take a look at my scene that I already have set up. I've got a basic room here, a door that I built, a teapot which I pulled straight from 3ds Max, and my inVR plugin. So the first thing we're going to want to do to get started is go to Window up here and go down to Lighting, click it. We'll pull out a lighting panel, we'll take the tab there and dock it right next to Inspector. Quickly go over this. First we have environment lighting, pre-computed real-time GI, bake GI, general GI, fog, and other settings. At the top here, we have skybox, which is our skybox, sun, which is a light in your scene, but you don't need that set. You have ambient source, which currently we are taking from our skybox, but you can also set up a gradient or a base color to use as your ambient source to change the ambient light. And then we have ambient intensity, which we have set to 1. Under ambient GI, yours might be set to real time. Set it to baked. For right now, I'm going to turn off pre-computed real-time GI. We don't need that. Under baked GI, we have baked resolution. This is the density of your light map and essentially how large it will be. This is relational to atlas size, but we'll get into that in a moment. Baked padding is the padding around your resolution. Compressed is usually checked. I uncheck it because I've noticed sometimes you get a weird crunching or clamp effect on the colors on your light map, especially on mobile, which is not good and makes things look quite terrible. We're going to go down to ambient occlusion. I have mine set to 1 right now. You can set it to 2. I never go higher than 4. I don't really see a reason to do that. Final gather will make your light maps look really, really good, depending on your ray count, which you can change once you set final gather on. But we're not going to use that right now as it multiplies your bake time tremendously. Under general GI, we have directional mode. Directional mode deals with what maps your light maps interpret. So there is non-directional, which only interprets diffuse, directional, which is diffuse and normal, directional specular, which is diffuse and normal spec. But for right now, we're going to leave it as non-directional. Okay, under here we have atlas size. This is the max size any of your light maps can be. So it works with baked resolution in the fact that if at, let's say, 10 resolution, my light map for my entire scene on one texture is 120/48 already, squared, then when I set it to 20 instead of 10, it'll bake out 2 20/48s. So be conscious of this relation here. Okay, so before we do our light map build, we're going to want to come in here to our hierarchy tab and take a quick look at our scene again. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to select all your meshes, at least that you want light maps for, and come into the inspector tab and set it to static. And this will come up asking if you want to change the children, and you're going to want to say yes. If you don't want everything static, you can click this little arrow here and just select light map static. But for our purposes, static on everything is just fine. We're going to want to now do the same for lights. And on the lights, you're going to want to come down to this tab that says baking and set them all to baked. Okay, now that that's all set up, we should be ready to do our light map bake. You're going to want to come back over here and hit build. Okay, so we're back, and I finished the build. My light maps are 21.3 megabytes. I always try to keep an eye on that because having a light map that's too large can cause problems. I did change a few settings to get a better result. Light maps are kind of uh, tweak it till it's right kind of thing. So what did I change? Which was my AO is now set to 2, and I changed the color of my light to a blue. But you can see along here you're starting to get some of that ambient occlusion. It makes the scene look much nicer. But one thing you will notice is this teapot. It is horrible looking, and this teapot here has a ton of artifacts all over it. This is due to the fact that I exported it straight from 3ds Max, and I did not change the UVs at all, so the UVs are overlaying, and you get this horrible artifact pattern all over your mesh. So if you're getting that, you're going to want to come over here to your project and find the mesh that it's occurring on. Gonna click it, come over to Inspector, and generate Lightmap UVs. As a precursor warning to this, I did do this to the rest of my stuff, but that was before the tutorial even began. Gonna hit apply. It'll take a moment. It'll go through its process. Okay, so now with my Lightmap UVs generated, you can see the teapot is looking clean and no longer has all those artifacts. And just overall, with the light maps now baked, you get this nice gradient of color, and the scene overall just looks much, much better. So down here you can see that I currently have 85.3 megabytes for my two 2048 directional light maps. That's not good for mobile, but this is the tutorial purposes. It's fine, but you'll want to try. I try to cap mine down at 20 because I think that's best, and that's not too intensive. Okay, I wanted to point out here, I swapped my directional mode from directional to non-directional, and it took my light map bake down from 80 megs, which is amazingly huge to be sending over mobile, down to 42.7, which is still bad, but it's much more reasonable, obviously. I would still try to get it down to at least 20. Oh. Okay, last thing here. Another advantage to doing light map bakes is it will drop your draw calls and your try count because Unity renders using their material system, the way it's coded, the engine might pass over an object 2 or 3 times, rendering all those tries. So doing this cuts down heavily on that, which also makes it better for mobile, and also your draw calls drop here. I believe you'll be able to see if we delete the bake data. Okay, there we go. It went from 26 to 123.5k, and this draw calls went back up to 41 from 10. Big difference, and so